So, for so many believers, the rapture isn't really the finish line. It's actually the starting gun for a whole new chapter. And in this explainer, we're going to dive into what that chapter looks like, according to Christian scripture. We're talking about an incredible 7-year journey that kicks off in the clouds and plays out entirely in heaven. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to look at the trumpet call that kicks the whole thing off. Then we'll get into this really unique judgment in heaven, which is all about rewards, by the way, and we'll wrap up with this amazing promise of a brand new eternal identity. Okay, so how does this all kick off? Well, it all starts with a sound. But here's the thing that might surprise you. According to the source material, it's not just one trumpet blast. Nope, it's actually two very distinct, very separate calls. And these aren't just for dramatic effect, Each trumpet has a very specific job to do. The first one, that's the signal for the Lord's descent. But it's that second one, the one called the last trumpet, that's the real go signal for believers. That's the one that triggers the resurrection and their incredible transformation. And this verse, wow. It just perfectly captures the unbelievable speed of this moment. We're talking instantaneous, in the twinkling of an eye. So the second that last trumpet sounds, boom. The next stage of this whole journey has already begun. All right, so they're caught up into the clouds. Then what? Where do they go? Well, this is where they enter a 7-year period in heaven. And it's important to remember, this is all happening at the same time as the tribulation is unfolding down on earth. The texts we're looking at paint a really vivid picture of what this new reality is like. So this is basically a highlight reel of life in heaven. You've got this incredible personal transformation. We're talking glorified bodies, knowing God face to face, and then you've got these huge group events. But the thing I really want you to notice here is that mention of judgment. Because this isn't what you might think. It has nothing to do with salvation. It's all about getting rewards. And the whole 7 years, it's all building toward this one massive, climactic celebration, the marriage of the Lamb. Okay, let's zoom in on that judgment I just mentioned, because this is a huge deal during the 7-year period. The source material is crystal clear on this. This is not a judgment to see if you're saved or not. Your ticket's already punched, so to speak. Instead, this is all about looking at a believer's life to hand out rewards. And it's got a specific name, the bema seat. Now, that word bema comes straight from the original Greek. Think about ancient Greece. The bema was the awards podium. It's where the judges would sit to hand out prizes to the winners of the games. So, from the very beginning, the whole idea is about celebration and honor, not about punishment at all. And this verse adds a really important detail. It says that everything a believer has done is going to be looked at. The things that have real eternal value, those get rewarded. But anything done for the wrong reasons, out of pride or for selfish gain, the texts say those things are basically burned away. But here's the crucial part. The person is still saved, 100%. It's just that the potential reward for that specific action is lost. It's like it just turns to smoke. So what are these rewards exactly? Well, the first category we're told about are 5 specific crowns. You can think of them like heavenly medals of honor, each one given for a different kind of faithful life and service back on earth. And to help us understand this, the source points to this really powerful comparison from Scripture. You know how athletes back in the day would compete for a crown made of olive leaves? It was a huge honor, but that crown would wither and turn to dust in a few days. It was perishable. Well, the crowns believers receive, they're the exact opposite. They are imperishable. They last forever. And here they are, the big 5. And what's so cool is that each one is linked to a specific quality or action. It's not always about some huge, dramatic gesture. It's really about the heart. You've got the crown of rejoicing for those who lead others to faith, but you also have the crown of life for the person who just quietly and faithfully endures tough times. It literally covers everything from being a leader out front to just persevering behind the scenes. I think this quote about the crown of righteousness is just beautiful. It really drives home the point that a reward isn't always for something you did, but for how you felt. It's for an attitude of the heart. In this case, it's for having that deep, constant, excited longing for the Lord's return. But wait, there's more. Beyond just the crowns, the book of Revelation talks about this whole other set of rewards. These are these incredible symbolic promises for the one who overcomes. And that's just a way of describing a believer who holds on to their faith, who stays strong right to the very end. And man, this list is just packed with powerful stuff. Eating from the tree of life, getting power over nations, being dressed in pure white garments. It's incredible. but the source really zooms in on one of the most fascinating and frankly mysterious rewards on the list, something called hidden manna and a white stone. Okay, a white stone. I know, that probably sounds a little random to us today, but trust me, this thing is absolutely loaded with meaning. To really understand why this is such an amazing reward, we've got to go back in time and see what a white stone meant to people in the ancient world. Okay, get this. The source breaks it down into 4 incredible meanings. First, in a Roman court, a white stone was a juror's vote for not guilty. So it means you're acquitted, totally in the clear. Second, it could be like a VIP ticket, your admission to a huge, exclusive banquet. Third, it was given to victorious athletes, like a champion's trophy. And finally, a special stone with a name on it granted you a unique status. All 4 of these ideas, acquittal, access, victory, and identity, are all packed into this one single reward. And just when you think it can't get any deeper, this verse reveals the most incredible part. The stone has a new name written on it, a secret name that no one knows except for God and the person who receives it. I mean, think about that. It takes the reward from being a public trophy to being the most intimate, personal gift imaginable. And that's really where this part of the journey comes full circle. It starts with this huge public trumpet blast for everyone to hear, and it ends with the most private, personal gift you could possibly imagine. A new identity, a secret name that just screams total acceptance and an unbreakable, intimate relationship with God that lasts forever. It really leaves us with that final, powerful question you see on the screen. What does a personal, secret identity, known only between you and God, truly signify for an eternal relationship?